There's no wonder why Suzhou is nicknamed Venice of the East. Or maybe Venice should be called Suzhou of the West. Well, I don't know. I've never been to Venice, so...
Welcome to the first video of my Pingjiang Road series. Here's an introduction about the Pingjiang Road historic district of Suzhou and the Jiangnan region of China.
So while I'm shooting this video, I'm probably still posting old videos about Hanzhong of Shanxi province, a city nicknamed Jiangnan of the Northwest. Well, I'm back in the real Jiangnan here in Suzhou. I'm in the Pingjiang Road area. This is a place where it really symbolizes the Jiangnan feel. In fact, Suzhou was called Pingjiang, or administratively speaking, back in the Song Dynasty. So that's how historic this area is. However, a lot of Suzhou locals will tell you to avoid the place because it's filled with tourist traps and local folks just never come here. I read that Parisians, a lot of them would refuse to go up the Eiffel Tower. Of course, I can't vouch for the veracity of those claims. And I'm sure a lot of Parisians will disagree. And so it's the same deal with Pingjiang Road. So there are many reasons to come and to not come to Pingjiang Road. I'll share my humble opinions in subsequent videos. But one reason to come to Pingjiang Road is because it can give you a genuine feel of what shuixiang water town is all about. So there are real water towns that dot the Jiangnan area. They're gorgeous and they're usually less commercialized and less crowded. But the thing is, they're usually located in the suburbs, so not very workable for visitors short on time. That's where Pingjiang Road comes in. It gives you a quick dose of that shuixiang feel. Jiangnan region has no shortage of water. There are lakes such as the Great Lake Tai, the rivers such as the Great Yangtze, also known as Changjiang, from which derived the name of the region, Jiangnan. But water could also refer to canals. Suzhou has around 20,000 canals, and along the sides of which are stores and residences, and even fortified city gates, and on which shuttle boats back and forth, and across which span many bridges, some centuries old. There's no wonder why Suzhou is nicknamed Venice of the East. Or maybe Venice should be called Suzhou of the West. Well, I don't know. I've never been to Venice, so I'm not the most qualified guy to compare the two. I've only been to Venice in Assassin's Creed. With all these waters, logically, aquatic products would play a huge role in the local Suzhou cuisine. Like shrimp, crab, fish, and the eel. Let's take a look at the eel. So we're at Xin Ju Feng, a restaurant about 1 kilometer away from the Pingjiang Road area. It's a long-standing institution, and I've heard that it's one of the favorite restaurants of the great late author Lu Wenfu, who was a well-known gourmet, and one of his masterpieces is actually called Gourmet. So we'll see if this place is worth the while.
If you're ready for the star of the meal, hit that like.
That's what the dish is all about, the multi-sensory experience. That's what sets this dish apart from the other Shanyu dishes, xiang So the sizzling oil has sizzled, but it's not going to take away from this dish. It's called xiang. The first two characters literally mean sizzling oil. The third character, shan, here refers to shanyu, eel, but we're not talking about freshwater eel. This is Asian swan eel, also known as rice paddy eel, among other names. Fans of Japanese cuisine, of which I'm one, should know of the freshwater eel as unagi. This is what the Japanese would call ha unagi, literally paddy eel. It's called shanyu in Chinese, or huangshan. Now, I've enjoyed plenty of delicious unagi in Japan, but I've never seen them eat the tart unagi. Then later I learned that the Japanese don't really eat the paddy eel for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe it's because the traditional washoku's emphasis on the clean taste sapari, means that the system just isn't very far enough, or like isn't equipped to deal with the swamp eel's natural swampiness. Just a conjecture, by the way, totally unsubstantiated. So don't quote me on that one. But this swampiness is a kind of it's a combination of like natural earthiness and fishiness. But if you find ways to overcome this swampiness, then the Asian swamp eel becomes the source of culinary highlight reel. As seen here, can beat the sizzle. So sizzling oil is just like the climax toward the end, but there's a lot of foreplay before. You know what I mean? So it starts with cleaning the shanyu. Now the Asian swamp eel is a lot smaller than the freshwater eel, sometimes like the circumference of your thumb. So they're much trickier and harder to handle. After cleaning and like gutting and deboning the shanyu, they are shredded and then stir-fried.
I should point out that some places really shred the eels into skinny strands, while other restaurants might use flat strips instead, as is the case here.
Water or light stock would be added to braise the shanyu briefly, and then this wateriness would be eliminated by either turning up the heat to evaporate the excess moisture, or a cornstarch slurry would be added to thicken the sauce. The resulting sauce should have this like paste-like viscosity. That's why the dish is called xiang with the fourth character gu, meaning paste. Although they call this dish here xiang meaning shred, as in the shredded eel. So the eels are cooked by this time. They are extracted and piled into a little mound, and then in the middle you would like dig out a little depression, sort of like the crater of a volcano. And in the middle you would place the chopped garlic and scallion. Sometimes people would add shreds of ginger, and then sprinkle on some white pepper, and finally comes the climax, dousing on the hot oil, ideally at the table, as they have done here properly. Then just let the goodness flow out from an eruption. And they do it right here. They do it properly. They don't cut corners. One way to cut corner is to substitute the shredded eels with shredded jiaobai. Jiaobai is the stem of the Manchurian wild rice. The grains themselves are not really eatable, but the stems are a popular summer vegetable, especially popular in this area of China. We cook with it all the time, whenever it's available in the summer, so I have no problem with this inclusion, as long as this like switch to the cheaper ingredient is accurately reflected or fairly reflected in the price. So that's a cheap approach to the cheating. The lazy approach is to douse the oil in the kitchen because it's more convenient. But that would really deny the dish its greatest moments of glory, because the xiangyao sizzling oil is the differentiator that sets this shanyu dish apart from other shanyu dishes. But no worry about that. Here, they do it right. And the other dishes, like especially this, the squirrel fish, it is excellent as well. But today, I singled out the 响油上湖 xiaoshansi, as they call it here, because right now is a pretty good time for the Asian swamp eel. There's a saying, 小暑黄鳝赛人参, roughly meaning the Asian swamp eel could give the ginseng a run for its money when eaten during the xiaoshu period. highlighting the health benefits of the shanyu when eaten during xiaoshu. Xiaoshu is one of the 24 solar terms of the traditional Chinese calendar. It means minor heat, and it denotes the period before the hottest part of summer. Xiaoshu is about 2 months away. There's another similar saying that substitutes Xiaoshu with Duanwu, as in the Dragon Ball Festival, which is less than a month away. So, like in general, shanyu is good in summer, and not coincidentally, the Japanese also observe a similar custom, the unagi. Since the traditional Japanese cuisine borrowed heavily from ancient Chinese cuisine, and since the traditional Japanese calendar is largely based on the traditional Chinese calendar, so it's no wonder that the Japanese also have a similar custom of eating the eel around a certain summer day. But of course, they eat the unagi freshwater eel, not the ta unagi paddy eel. But it would seem that the two types of eels share similar health properties because the logics behind both customs are mainly founded upon the interplay between the Chinese philosophy of 5 elements and changes of the 4 seasons. But actually, I ordered this dish in any season because I really like it. So now I'm gonna shut up and revel in this dish that I like so much. 再见。